why don't kids go outside anymore?
We've seen the transition of when we were a kid, always outside, running around, versus today. And we're curious to talk about it.
By the way, I'm Haley. I'm here with Julia and Janina, and we're the Neighbors Pod.
So sometime last year on my YouTube page, I got recommended a video called Why Don't Kids Go Outside? And it was uploaded by the creator flurfdesign. It's only a 10-minute video, and I clicked into it because, it was only 10 minutes, and I was very intrigued to see what they were going to say. And they spent a lot of time in the video talking about how cities/suburbs are not walkable anymore because everyone has a car. And because everyone has a car, everything is built around needing a car. So therefore, it doesn't make it friendly for people to walk around or bike around in. AKA, kids aren't really just out and about because they have to rely on getting a ride from their mom or dad because they can't walk or ride their bike anywhere. And I assume in the average spot in America, there's not good public transit. I say that because we're in the Northeast metro area, like we live in the greater New York City area, so we definitely have access to public transportation that the average person in America does not. So we're very lucky. So that's also why I thought it was interesting to watch this video, because we grew up outside despite growing up in the suburbs. So I was like, oh, why aren't kids outside anymore? Is it really as simple as parents are just shoving a phone in their face nowadays, which is why they're not going outside? Or is there something bigger to it? And it seems to be, obviously it seems to be a little bit of both, because kids knowing technology and whatnot nowadays, it's just there. But to each their own. I'm not a parent. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Okay? But it was interesting to see how we're building our society in America is not set up for kids to be independent, but the people that are building our society in the first place are the ones that were growing up outside.
Yeah.
So why aren't they setting it up to be like in the same way that their kids can now be outside in the same way that they were? Because I definitely don't want my kids to be on their phone as much as like the kids nowadays are. I want them to be outside because I loved it. So yeah, opening it back up to you guys so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was a good synopsis of the video.
Yeah, agreed. I thought something interesting about that video because it focused so much on cars being the problem and kind of the scapegoat isn't the word, but like the reason.
Yeah.
Like the sole reason, not the sole reason, but the main reason why kids aren't going outside anymore. But like from when we grew up to this point now, our streets haven't changed really. If anything, they've changed for the better with more bike lanes. But
yeah,
with that being said, there were more of us playing outside before these bike lanes were even put into place. Yeah. So it was interesting to see how it didn't affect our specific upbringing.
And it clearly didn't affect generations before us because they were always out on their bikes.
Yeah.
Just going out and about to their friend's house.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too because one of the other things I mentioned in that video was how schools with the car pickup, like the locations of the schools and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still an issue for us around here. No.
I would also like to point out too that the video did mention that cities and suburbs are way safer now than they were back in the day too. So if you're worried about like your child being abducted at random, way less likely to happen now versus like the 70s/80s. So I also thought that was an interesting point too.
There was some guy in the comments and he said that I think he grew up in Michigan and there was some abandoned land that they mowed down and played baseball on. And now going back to that same area, it's all built up and there's nowhere to play.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. But I was thinking about that because our area, it really is kind of the same. Our neighborhood, at least.
Yeah. Our neighborhood, definitely, for sure. We were also lucky to be on the side of the town that all you had to do was walk up the street and then you hit one of the major town parks. So it's very accessible in and of itself. Like, you could walk to the other side of town and be there in 15 minutes.
I think this extends further than just public parks, though, because everyone has, even if you live in an apartment, right? Everyone has a neighbor. You could just play in the hallway, but kids these days aren't even doing that.
Yeah,
they're staying in their immediate homes. I feel like that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because to that point, they're not even going across to the neighbors
They're not leaving their
to
house.
hang out. Because how many times was I just over at your house if we weren't outside?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. How many times were we at your house if we weren't outside?
Yeah.
Like, it was always about hanging out, too. Even just beyond being outside. On a rainy day, we were still together.
Yeah.
Kids these days aren't doing that. Like, everything is digital for them, unfortunately.
And one of the things I noted was the reason why I think kids don't go outside as much anymore is because back then there were less excuses. Now we can text each other and it's like, oh, are you free at 12 o'clock to go play? And I could make up an excuse. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm tired. But back then we would just show up at each other's doors.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm ready. And you would have to go out. I remember vividly people
ringing each
showing
other's
up,
doorbells.
and I would be like, Mom, tell them I'm not here. And then they'd be peering in the window like, oh, no, Haley, you're here. Like, let's go play.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of something that was lost. And it was kind of a good thing that forced us to leave even when we didn't want to.
Yeah, like, oh, you care about me. Like, yeah, let's go hang out.
Yeah.
Bet.
But now you could kids these days now could just text each other and be like, oh, not feeling it today. And cancel the plan before it even happened.
Or they just FaceTime each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it did say that they did mention that in the video too, that you could just hop on a FaceTime and get social interaction like that.
But that's not social interaction.
Not in the same way. I agree.
I wonder if the same amount of people walk to school compared to when we were younger.
They say less kids.
Because
more parents are dropping off.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, think about it. Like, our area hasn't changed, so you could walk to school as conveniently back then as you can now. But it seems like in average America, you're living farther away from your school and you have more busy roads to walk on. Yeah. So you're less likely to do that.
It's true.
Because when we'd walk to school, there'd be kids all up and down the main road walking. But nowadays, I don't leave at a time to see that.
But yeah, so it seems to be that less kids are walking to school now.
So do we think that it's a safety thing that parents want their kids to be inside because they're worried about the dangers of outdoors? Like what?
I don't know. I feel like it's a problem that more things are televised.
Yeah.
Like, you hear all these horror stories, but something that happened in Alabama is not going to likely be happening in Maine that same week. But the way that everything's so connected on the media and on our phones, maybe parents are more concerned.
Yeah.
And how often is it happening in the grand
not
scheme?
often. I don't know if it was that video or on Reddit. I saw that, parents are worried about kidnappers, but most of the time, kidnappers are not a stranger taking your kid into a van. It's usually someone that you know in the family that's like, it's always personal, but these parents are ingrained in these like horror stories of some strangers taking their kid.
Yeah, in the 0.01% story that goes insanely viral.
Exactly.
That's what they're sticking with as the truth.
Yeah. And I also noted that Ring cameras kind of ruin fun.
That's so funny.
We always talk about on the podcast how it's not the same as it was in 2000s because everything that you do is like broadcasted. Someone could post a TikTok of you, a photo of you, and it'll live on forever. But things we did as a kid for fun, for example, Ding Dong Ditch. Yeah. You can't do that anymore.
Harmless fun.
Harmless fun. You're not hurting anyone. But now, literally, it's happened in our town's Facebook page. Kids would do this and they'd post the video of them ringing the bell and running away and being like, oh, get these kids, have them doing something productive. They're having fun.
At least they're outside.
Yeah.
Who are they hurting?
Literally nobody, but I feel like that's a big problem. Kids try to have fun and they get in trouble for it.
Yeah. There's always one negative Nancy to like cry about it.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And why post a child on Facebook?
Literally, why?
I think that happens so often too.
It does.
It does. There's too many negative Nancys out there.
So then is it the parents the problem?
But what caused them to become that way if they grew up outside?
Exactly.
Actually, I argue, I don't think it's the parents, because the main parents nowadays are millennials, or like the Gen X, the generation before the millennials, and no, sorry, I hate to be this person, but it is usually more so the boomers that you see complaining about something.
There's so many millennial moms on Facebook groups, though. Like, all the ones I have noted. For example, there was also, like, kids riding bikes in our town. They would get in trouble for riding in the street. The millennial moms would take pictures of them and, like, boot them out of town.
While they're driving.
Literally, stop texting and driving then. This will get clipped and put on the Facebook page.
Yeah, literally.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are you sure it's millennials or are you sure it's not the Generation X?
I know parents that are millennials.
Okay. So maybe it's just like a universal mom thing then.
That's what yeah, so it would be the parent.
And I get being concerned about people in the street. However, taking a picture of them and posting it somewhere where there's no change to happen.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is going to be affected.
No.
Go to the police department if that's your concern. Although, what are they going to do?
They're just riding bikes.
Yeah.
What are they doing wrong?
But do you remember when those kids were playing chicken in the road?
Yeah.
That's a little crazy.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
With the bikes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one you can definitely be like, hey.
But also has always been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just weren't recorded and put on Facebook.
They used to
back
do
then.
worse nowadays, or back in the day.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, people grew up tipping cows. Nowadays, people don't do that.
Like, they're just riding their bike.
Why are people tipping cows?
Because that's what they did for fun. I made a little note that I liked being outside because I felt/feel I'm more creative, I am more fun, I have more independence, and I have way more self-confidence than people that were inside a lot.
As a kid, you mean?
As a kid and even now. I feel like it just became a part of me. Like, oh, I'm done with homework. Okay, I don't want to play with my Barbies today. Let me go be a fairy princess outside.
Yeah.
And go collect rocks and make potions and just, like, go be creative. Or I was super into mythology. Let me go, like, make a little spell and, like, worship Poseidon today or Athena. You know what I mean? More creative stuff's more fun there. More independent because I did that either by myself or with friends. Hello. So I feel like it's so easy to just grab a video game and just do something and not push yourself to think of something new or be creative.
Oh, and with that, I also had noted that back when we were growing up, there was less easy ways to be entertained. So, for example, now there's easier sources of indoor entertainment versus relying on cable, the radio, DVDs, CDs. Kids now, they can go on Netflix and put in whatever show they want, but we had to wait for the Disney premiere at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we have to kill time anyway. Why don't we go play?
Exactly.
And we only played Just Dance when it was raining or something.
Exactly. Or like the Disney video games whenever it was raining. Because we would always do that together too.
Yeah.
That's not something I really did alone.
No.
Like, we were always together doing stuff.
Yeah.
This is a little bit, not off topic, but I'm curious, when you first started college, did you dorm at all?
No, I commuted at first and then I started to dorm.
So, but this was before COVID, right? At all
Yes.
those points? Were people social in the dorm areas? Were people, like, knocking on other doors, saying hello to people on campus type of thing?
I would say the people that dormed were more friendly than the commuters because you saw each other more, so you just were more friendly. And I definitely feel as a commuter at first, I didn't have as many people to, like, say hi to around campus.
I'm just saying, like, the social aspect in general, people talking to strangers.
I don't think my school's a good representation because we were a nerdy tech school.
Okay.
That was, like, 70% commuters. Like, that is not a good pool for success to ask about social interactions.
Okay. I saw somebody else say that they they went to college in the early 2000s and you knock on everyone's dorm rooms and everyone would say hi to each other. And I know when I was in college, which was 2020, it was
Not like that.
not like that.
It was definitely not like that.
And I was trying to knock on doors and I remember people would crack it open and literally be like, what? It's just crazy to me. And even now, walking on campus, people look the other way when you pass someone. Nobody's saying hello.
Yeah. Because even, like, when you watch Gilmore Girls, you see Rory's experience on Yale.
Yeah.
And the OC. Everyone going to college. Everyone is so friendly and, like, open to making new friends. But a lot of people on Reddit were saying that the blame could fall on the parents because they're not instilling these social skills in their children. that they were raised to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then what went wrong that the skill didn't get passed down?
Well, in the video that we're referencing, they said there was some study about how kids that played outside on their own developed these social skills naturally because they were out, they were dealing with adult strangers, they had to find their way home, they had to do this and that. So it falls back on not being outside.
Mm-hmm.
Even like me in the backyard, someone walked by with their dog. Oh, hi, how are you? Sometimes like there's nothing to be worried about.
I know.
No, or at least like again, maybe it's privileged where we grew up to say that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like we had it so good growing up. And like, why aren't kids outside?
That's true.
So hard to understand. Did we just like have a Goldilocks childhood?
I don't know.
I mean, we did grow up in a very safe town, very small town, and the moms were looking over it. And we have a lot of moms that stayed at home so that they were probably more comfortable for us to play outside because they were home. Mm-hmm. They weren't at work all day. But, I mean, I'm sure we were lucky.
But even then, if it was a matter of concern at work, like that's the generation before us, like our parents, and they were still outside a lot with their parents working and not home. So it's like, why did it go wrong for this generation?
I don't know.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Kids are getting phones earlier now, too.
Yeah.
True.
And also, I mean, the internet was never as big as it was. I mean, obviously, it wasn't that. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I guess they had no choice to keep themselves busy. But that gets into the thing about letting yourself be bored. A lot of parents don't let their kids be bored now. They just shove a tablet in their face.
Exactly.
And boredom is good.
Boredom is good. Boredom's how we come up with dances and shows and fake challenges.
And drawing.
Chalk. Everything comes from, I think creativity stems from being bored.
That's what Emma Chamberlain said.
Queen.
Today on my walk, somebody had drawn hopscotch on the sidewalk.
Aww.
And I literally, I was like, no, I'm going to do this right now. But it made me think, I mean, I was grateful to see it just because I literally wonder if people are outside.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we filled the street with chalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are a handful of kids on our block that do play outside, and it's wonderful, but I don't think that's the norm, even for our town.
Yeah.
No. Well, think about it. When we grew up, it was like a rally of the whole neighborhood, the whole block.
Well, I also saw a statistic. I mean, obviously we know the housing market is impossible right now. So a lot of new families that are raising these new kids, they can't afford even a home to be by where we grew up. So it's not even that they aren't, but probably they can't because they can't even afford a home.
Mm-hmm.
But like, where are the kids in my apartment building then?
Yeah.
If the families can't buy homes, then they're renting somewhere.
Yeah.
So like, why aren't there any kids near apartments or like the school parks?
Yeah.
Like where
But also,
are they?
like, the birth rate is like 1 billion under the average or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's just, in general, I think, less kids.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Oh, don't even get me started on birth rate talk.
Yeah. But then, like, just, again, about, like, our immediate area, the families here, they're not selling their houses, so it's us. Mm-hmm. So there's no new family really coming in. So that means there's no new kids to play with each other. So I feel like that's part of the thing that there's not, like, new neighborhoods. And I see tons of TikTok neighborhoods, like, especially in Florida, these communities, and they're so vibrant. They have street barbecues. They have, like, a whole community and, like, a pool in their little village. And there it seems wonderful. So I think it's a matter of not even, like, having a community, like, losing the ability to have a community, I guess.
Yeah.
So available for every class.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 kids on my block that are the same grade, and I never see them hang out together. And it's crazy to me.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to be friends with your neighbors because you might not have the same interests in your personal life, but your neighbors and your friends because you're neighbors. Mm-hmm. Like, all of us didn't really do the exact same thing growing up, but we became friends because we lived close to each other.
And I feel like we tried it out anyway. Like, at some point, we each did overlap with something.
Yeah.
And there were people that hung out with us that were totally different, like, enjoyed different things, but...
Exactly. Like, in life, you're going to meet people with different backgrounds. It's okay.
And you mentioning the apartments. I mean, people in New York City, more apartments, but they're still going to be outside.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same now.
So many wonderful stories of just hanging out on their front stoop of their apartment building. You would have everyone on that one even just block, you'd have 100 kids. Because that's the benefit of apartment living. There's so many kids around you.
Well, and I guess, think about it. The average family was having 4 kids, and nowadays the average family is having 1 to 2. You have half as many kids. And say there's half as many families around, boom, that's already a quarter of as many kids.
That's so sad.
So maybe there's just way less kids around, and they're just out less, so we all see it and feel it more.
That's disappointing.
That is. But our government and society has to take better care of itself to make people want to have families and kids again. And that's the tea.
Another piece of information to why some believe kids don't play outside as much anymore is increasing climate extremes, where summers hit record highs and we can't even be outside, versus 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, weather was more moderate.
And I will again go out on a limb and say we are probably, again, privileged, good town, grew up, and moms were around to drop us off.
Yeah.
So, like, because I would, my first response to say is, oh, it's hot, pool, immediately. Especially as a kid, when you're not working. Like, what are you really doing? Of course I'll go hang out at the pool with you. Why not? But, again, average America, like, I'm going to assume, I don't know. I'm going to assume maybe some random kid in the Midwest cannot drive half a mile to a pool unless they own it.
Yeah.
In their backyard.
And so if there's a heat wave, they're going to stay inside.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And maybe they're even working. Don't a lot of those
kids... Well, we're talking about like 8 years old.
Oh, okay. True. Sorry.
I hope you're not working.
No. I hope not. Jeez.
Unless they're like tending to their ranch, maybe.
If you are and you're watching this, comment something. Maybe we can help.
Okay, another note. Someone on Reddit said, I stopped going outside because everyone else my age stopped going outside.
Did they say
How
their
old
age?
do you think they are? Yeah.
No, I'm guessing teenagers, early 20s. Because it was a whole thread about adults that try to still go outside because they remember it being so fond. And then it's like, if I'm the only one doing this, I'm missing the whole point of being outside, which is socializing.
Yeah.
But, like, just go on a walk.
Well, okay. I mean, obviously, yeah. But someone had a story saying that they were walking to their library. This was... Okay.
No, go. I saw that.
And they got stopped by the police because he was wearing a backpack and holding books. And the police officer's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm walking to the library to return my books. So that just points to the increased surveillance and I guess suspicion and distrust in people.
Because there's a lack of people doing it.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's great that there's police officers trying to keep people safe, but at what cost can you not even go on a walk with a backpack on?
It's so true. When I walked in the town over, I felt like the people that were driving by were giving me looks.
I always fear that.
And I'm like, do they just not see people walking? Do they know I don't live in this town? It's just the strangest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, we can't go swing on a playground without getting a weird look.
I know.
Yeah.
I've done that before. As an adult.
But I feel like maybe that's just a matter of where we live.
I feel like if any state saw an adult alone in a public park, there'd be cause for concern. And, like, a valid cause for concern. But what if, like, I feel like we're just always assuming the worst in people now.
Exactly. That's so sad.
Like, why can't they just, like, be on a walk at the park?
Yeah.
Because think about it. We would do that sometimes. Just walk.
All the time.
To the park and just do laps. Like, a lap or two there, and then keep going on our walk.
Okay, you talking about the guy going to the library reminds me of this, which is kind of on the flip side. I saw a man today sitting on the bench in our uptown area with a brown bag, like, probably drinking, okay? And he slumped over a little bit. I was kind of surprised, okay? And I saw a police officer drive by as this was happening, and my first reaction was, I wonder if they're going to stop and ask this man what he's doing. And, I mean...
And they did?
I don't know. But that was the same thing. Like, I see somebody outside who could be somewhat out of place. I'm like, what are they doing here?
It's just...
He's just having his 9 a.m. beer.
Yeah, maybe there's something else going on there.
No, definitely. But it's just the fact that that was my first reaction.
Yeah.
Like, oh, somebody should ask this guy what he's doing.
Yeah. So are we just more nosy than ever?
Maybe. No.
More nosy and, like, more, like... easily displayable too.
Yeah.
Like, if everyone is, like, kind of... If you know everyone's home, but that they're looking outside because they're nosy, and then if you do anything crazy, that they'll just, like, swoop, boop, post.
I hate that.
You're not going to want to be outside, and if you are outside, you're going to want to be as nonchalant as fucking possible.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to do anything wild.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be forgettable that you were outside to begin with, so no one's going to... It's going to feel like no one's outside.
So messed up. So, pointing back to the, like, why kids don't play outside anymore, another person said, a kid's day tends to be more structured these days, after school activities, etc., and many neighborhoods are built for cars, not people, they're built for cars, not people. So you have to actively take a kid to the park instead of letting them run in the street. That part we said already. But I guess the new part is kids' schedules are more structured these days. So maybe it's a benefit that parents are putting their kids in worthwhile activities after school, and that's why we're not seeing them being in the street.
One could hope.
So many kids take taekwondo, karate.
So are there less kids and they're better taken care of?
Maybe. Because when we were getting into our sports, we played outside less because we always had different practice times.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe parents are being more intentional with how their kids spend their time. Could
I
be a
hope so.
positive.
Channeling their own interests so they have less time to be bored and be outside in the first place.
Maybe. Or maybe they're avoiding screen time by putting their kid in every sport known to man, which kind of our parents did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And it
you could
worked
avoid
out.
screen time by your kid being outside too.
Yeah. I'm just saying maybe that's their stance on it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even let them be bored. Let them do every sport.
Sport/activity.
Yeah.
Because you could do like arts or something.
Yeah,
That's not-
yeah. Same thing.
Maybe that's what it is. Today's
so.
parents are just more disposable income for their kid because there's less kids, so they can channel their kid's specific interests instead of leaving it up to chance for your kid to become friends with the neighbors based on happenstance. Because it doesn't work out. Think about how many kids grew up around us that we're not friends with.
True.
We are just the lucky few that got to actually be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in general, how many people aren't friends with people from their hometown? Like, it's rare to have a lifelong best friend.
True.
I found that pretty crazy too. When people go to college and then they're best friends with the people from college and they just don't have anyone from their hometown. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? Where
Yeah.
you grew up?
Like 20 years of just nothing?
Yeah.
No worthwhile friendships from that whole time?
Unless
That
there's someone that
sucks.
moved around a lot. Like, there's exceptions. But if you did grow up
Yeah.
in the one town, go to the same schools with everyone, then it's like, what? How'd that happen?
Yeah. But again, I would say we're the average, we're the exception. Because how many people did we grow up with nearby that we're not friends with?
Yeah.
Or maybe you only are meant to stick with one or two people.
Aw.
Because we grew up near like 100 kids on average within each grade alone.
Yeah.
So like there's plenty of people that we grew up near.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think there's less kids in our area because the class sizes have only gotten larger.
True.
Because they've had to expand the schools.
Yeah.
Our town sends their kid to a whole new school because of, I think, part of that.
Because of
it.
space, yeah.
But again, that could just be our area. Because on
Maybe.
average, that birth declined. The birth rate is like half of what it used to be.
Okay.
She's definitely not wrong about that.
Okay, so we asked you guys on our Instagram, why do you think no one plays outside anymore?
Hey.
And the first response said, everyone's too busy or lazy.
Okay, so kind of going back to what we said, that kids nowadays have routines/schedules, and the parents are channeling their interest. Or the flip side of it, you're just a kid who is lazy and doesn't want to go outside, so you're just going to be on the screen all day.
Yeah.
And not going to do that anyway.
I've been seeing a lot of discourse about, even us as like young adults, how we take hanging out too seriously in a way, and people should just be able to be in the same room like we used to, and just live cohabitate.
Oh my God.
And spend time together.
Yeah.
Like when we would like do our Notion planning together.
Yeah, but even like it didn't even need that plan. Just like,
No.
hey guys, I'm watching TV if you want to come over.
Yeah, you're right.
And like you just
Me being like, hey, I'm gonna put my clothes away. Do you want to hang out? Listen to
literally
music?
things like that.
I get so sad thinking about that because I loved when we were younger and would do stuff like that. Or let's say you're cleaning your room and your friends just hang out in the room with you.
You just
What?
cared less. I think when you're younger, you care less. You don't know any different. That is your world.
But why? Like we're aware of this now.
Yeah.
Yet when I'm cleaning my room, I'm not gonna be like, hey, Julie, you want to come over?
I think because we just assume that we're all so busy or have like certain things we need to get done. We're like, oh, we have to plan this hangout out.
And I
rather
do
than-
always, like, every time I have people over, I'm like, are they even having fun?
I
Do they
know.
want to go home? Like,
Or like, I don't know. Like sometimes I will be cleaning when people are over and they're like, are you listening? Like, are you relaxing? I'm like, I'm listening to every word you're saying. I just happen to be cleaning right now.
yeah.
Like, I wanted to hang out with you, but I still had to clean. Like, my counter is still filthy and I want to wipe it down. I can still listen to you update me about your life.
Yeah. So maybe we're not too busy to hang out. We just think other people wouldn't want to join us in those things.
And we're overthinking the hangout to begin with.
Yeah. I think we overthink our friendships sometimes. Like, we're friends because we like each other. So we should be doing whatever.
Or maybe not every hangout can be quality time of just sit down staring at each other like this, no phones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like maybe it has to be like, hey, like, do you mind if I do this? Like, while we just like sit here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think we're overthinking it, maybe.
Maybe.
Because sometimes, like, Janina would just be in my swing in my backyard, be like, chill, girl. Like,
Facts.
just hanging.
I used to just finish homework and just be like, yo, I'm coming over now.
Haley, do
Just-
you remember how we would show up to your house? Because I don't specifically remember knocking on your door. I just remember being there.
I think it was just, I would hear your scooter come down the road, and I'd be like, okay, it's time to play Julia's Free.
Yeah. Because we didn't, I mean, I know I called some people through the house phone, but I don't remember us calling each other on the
I
house.
remember calling Janina's house phone, but I remember, like, for you, maybe walking up to your door, but someone in your family just always happened to be. I'd be like, oh, is Julia?
Yeah.
Julia around?
I've rung your doorbell a few times, but I definitely used to just like text you and be like, I'm
Yeah.
coming outside now.
Yeah.
I just
Like,
feel
meet me outside in 2 minutes or I'm gonna scream.
I'm gonna cause a scene.
I'm
just
gonna have a meltdown.
rolling down the street, and
Yeah.
then you guys would be waiting at the tree, and it was just
Yeah.
like, okay,
I
time to
never,
go.
like, I wish I remembered our first hangout.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because, like, obviously we had playdates. I remember having playdates with Julia, and our moms obviously would sanction that. But after it got to a certain point, like, we just started being together every day.
I have no idea.
I feel like it's different for you and me because I would just like your brother would always be done with homework first, right? So
That's
he would
true.
just be playing basketball, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, they're outside. I'm gonna go outside."
So my house was just noisy, and
Maybe.
it attracted
Yeah.
everyone.
And then like you would just come outside after you would hear me because I'm loud, and you'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, the girl is here! Yay!"
The girl here. But, like, I guess it was just way less stress. But why are we like that? Like, now, instead of walking, I'd be like, oh, are you home?
Maybe
Yeah.
I was just nosy and I was abnormal again.
Yeah, but would you do it
self-confidence.
now? Would you do it now?
Probably.
Just walk over.
I think so.
My mom's one friend always does that.
I love
Because she
that.
goes through her walks through town and just stops at my house.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. It's like, you know someone's going to be home, and if they're not, okay.
Yeah.
See you next time.
And that
Exactly.
builds community also because if your mom wasn't home, your dad's home or your brother's home and they can have a conversation, be
Yeah.
friendly.
Exactly. Oh, why are you looking for her? Oh, about this. Oh, she does that? Yeah. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
I wish we kind of didn't have a phone.
It's so sad. And this is funny you say that because another memory that just popped in my head is the day that you got your first cell phone.
Me?
It was the square one.
Oh, I remember that.
You
phone.
remember that? I remember, well, I mean, maybe it wasn't the first day you got it. It was the first day you showed it to
Yeah.
us. And we were sitting by Gina's tree, and you came over, and you're like, guys, look at this. And it was just a spectacle because none of us had a phone.
Oh,
Right,
I wish I remembered that.
I think
Yeah,
it
you
was-
definitely got the phone first.
And you had the
I
little
loved
Z
that.
sticker that you put on it.
Yeah. I loved that phone.
That was a fun phone.
Had a little keychain center. That's so. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Not gonna lie, Adeline's review/video, it was sponsored as fuck, but it totally got me thinking. The Motorola ad that she did with the little flip phone.
Yeah.
And it's fucking pink. That shade of pink is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
She's got me thinking.
Like, what if we just had a spare flip phone that we could just, like, we can't communicate to each other on our smartphones. We have to use the flip phone. That's kind of like when we had walkie-talkies. I love walkie-talkies.
We were a big fan of walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
There's so many crazy stories from the walkie-talkies. Oh my god. There was a kid in my class at college that had a flip phone because he was like, I'm sick of my cell phone.
I love that.
Good.
Yeah.
See? You could just get a Motorola. Have the best of both worlds.
God.
Wait,
she
how
really
much
got
is a
me
flip
thinking.
phone? I might have one.
I wonder, like, how it functions, though.
Yeah.
If we need a line for it.
You still need...
I would not get the Samsung version. I have beef. Samsung, I have beef with you.
Okay. I don't know the beef.
I don't know.
That's okay.
We should look into that.
Or could we just get like a track phone? Those are the short-term ones.
Yeah.
It's like a single, like a
Or we'll
month
just use
line.
our iPod touches and only make calls on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down for that. I will bring out my iPod.
No, but I want the experience of flipping it.
I know I want a flip phone too.
Well, I would totally fuck with my iPod. It is certified vintage. It's obsolete. I got a white case off, like, it's not even Amazon, because I wasn't using Amazon back in the day. And I colored it the British flag design, but in the Irish flag colors, because that's how hardcore directioner I was. I still have its charger, too. So whenever you want me to revive it, looking through Janina's old iPod.
But what is it about flip phones that we are so excited about that we can't do with our smartphones?
The satisfaction.
And the beep, 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 like to press each button to send a text.
I'm, like, excited about the flip sound again. And to slam it closed.
But we need to, like, make rules about this and enforce it. Like, what if we can only communicate by phone call?
That would be even better. I have friends that won't text, that just call. And it's a little scary, though.
That is scary.
When I get a phone call, I'm thinking it's an emergency.
Me too.
Can we go to Claire's and fill up, like, the cute little, like, girly makeup, but, like, with actual good makeup products with tint?
What are you talking about?
I'll send you the videos. That with the little flip phones, girlhood heaven.
I just had to call. I had a quick question. I was like, can I want to drop something off to her? She lent me books a while back. And when I called her, she answered, hello? I said, hey, are you home? Yeah. I was like, can I drop these books off to you? She was like, why? Just shocked that I called her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bring back phone calls.
Bring
we
back
gotta
phone
do
calls.
the track phones.
Bring
We
back
should.
social interaction. Bring back going outside.
Can we honestly, I mean, this feels so stupid of a conversation, like, just do it. But can we all collectively just do it together?
Yeah. What, like everyone gets a flip phone?
Gen Z, as parents, maybe that's what the world needs.
But, like, I feel like we just need to have less stress about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
It's good that we're having this realization. Like, hopefully things will get better.
Hang out with your friends and just do whatever the fuck.
And also, when we grow up and have families, we have to be neighbors in wherever state we collectively decide on, so our kids have no choice.
Yeah.
Neighbors knows no boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay? You're still my neighbor, no matter where we live.
Gina's
my
gonna move
kids will
somewhere
know
and not
that.
tell
She's gonna go
us.
so far away.
My kids will know that.
That's-
They're gonna be like, Mommy, why is Auntie Haley our neighbor when she lives 10 hours away? Like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
She's not 10 hours away in your heart, is she? No.
The second response we got to why
Alright.
do you think no one plays outside anymore says, in my opinion, it's because their parents don't make them. I think it's fair. I think parents are scared of their kids nowadays more than our parents were.
Mm-hmm.
They'd just be like, okay, be bored, go outside,
Exactly.
go have fun. But parents now, I feel like maybe there's more pressure on them, and I wouldn't know because we're not parents yet. But I feel like it's like a show. Maybe it's because of social media again. It's a show to be like, oh, I'm the best parent, so I'm entertaining my kid all day long. Oh, your kid doesn't know their ABCs yet? Like things like that.
Don't
Maybe.
post about your kids online.
I know, that's the solution, but I feel like maybe that's why.
Like, keep your social media about you. When I'm a parent one day and I have kids, like,
I feel like if you're
I'm not
social,
gonna put them on blast like that. Like, that feels weird.
Yeah.
But, like, they're still in my life. Or, like, what Aspen Over does. Like, make my kids a snack plate with me.
Yeah. I think if it's different, like, if you're an influencer, obviously don't post your kids. But if you're a private Instagram, you only follow your family and you're private, post your kid. Like, it's just connecting them.
Yeah. I mean,
you're
if
talking
that's
about,
influencing
like,
your parents.
social families.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I agree with.
Like, if you're just social online for, like, your inner circle and it's, like, 100 people, post your fucking kids, do what you want. If you can't, I think there's something else going on there. Because what?
And also, I'm interested in what you guys think, but growing up for me, I mean, I'm blessed to have a lot of cousins that live in the direct vicinity of where I live, but our family is just like, yeah, go hang out with your cousins. You're aged 6 to 25, but just go outside and do something. Did you guys hang out with your cousins outside like that?
Yeah.
A lot of the cousins my age live in New York. I mean, not that far, but it wasn't as easy to just go like, oh, let me go hang out with my cousin.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom would just drive me over there if it was the weekend.
And you would just find things to do.
Yeah.
For the girls, we would get together a lot, like, in the summer, so we were definitely more inclined to, like, swim or do water-based things like that.
Yeah.
And then when I was getting together with my other cousins on my mom's side, they were mainly guys, so we would just, like, mainly, like, run around outside of some kind.
But it still was just, like, random things. Like, it didn't have to be a sanctioned, oh, we're going to the amusement park today. It's just, like, go outside.
And again, social interactions. Kids are mean sometimes, so, like, you just work through that.
It's part of life.
And that's another thing with the socializing. When you're in person, if someone's rude to you, you adjust, you figure out that conversation in the moment, versus now it's over the phone. It's like, somebody's bullying me and it's a problem, but I feel like there's no way to, like, learn from it.
Agreed.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that why there's more anxiety?
I definitely
It triggers
think so.
a fight or flight, and you can't really, like, do anything. At least if it's in person, you can mouth back to them.
Yeah,
or hit them. I'm not saying do that, but, like, it does happen.
Yeah. Or the person that's rude, is forced to adjust their personality.
So an adult overhears it and goes, hey, cut that shit, apologize.
Yeah. But now everything's on the phone. You don't even know how a message is being construed. You don't know anything.
Yeah. And that was also just 3 different outcomes we thought of right there alone. Online, nothing like that happens. That kid just sits with it.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. You know what I mean?
Phones ruin everything.
Sorry. Yeah, we're having, like, a very deep conversation today.
You know what we really should do?
What?
We should host a block party this summer.
That'd be so fun.
Neighbors pod.
When they block off the street and literally...
We should do that for real.
Yeah.
We should.
That's another thing. Used to happen all the time. Up on the top of the street, at least.
My friends would come.
Yeah. You know what also bothers me? We used to have lemonade stands all the time. Kids don't do it anymore, but last year there was a couple, but they're only publicized on Facebook. So all the people in town are coming. Maybe this is not a thing to complain about, but I feel like that's weird that it's, like, become still social media. The beauty of that was just a random car passing by and stopping for your lemonade, but now it's like you have to market it for your kid on Facebook to get customers.
That's sad.
Is it weird if adults do a lemonade stand?
I would love to do a lemonade stand.
Apparently
is that inappropriate?
Apparently it is.
Why? Let's break social norms.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back.
What if we do,
The
like,
kids
a
won't
coffee
do it,
stand?
so we will.
Yeah, that's
Like an iced coffee stand?
Cold brew
It could
stand.
be like, where's your permit? You're not 12 years old.
We're going to post it.
No, we should do a block party, actually.
That is good PR.
That would bring everyone together. That's so nice. Like, there's people on our street I don't even know.
Yeah. There's some people
And
that
there's
have moved
new
and I don't know.
families, yeah.
I used to have a grandpa on my street, and his grandkids lived in another town, but they would always be there. And we'd be playing Manhunt, Capture the Flag, all these crazy games.
I love
Like, those days were so happy for me. And I just think, why, as adults, do we not play these fun outdoor games?
Because you're scared that we're going to say no. So you don't even ask, and that's the problem.
Yo, I will host a Disney Channel's themed game for my birthday. Say the word right now. Capture the Flag, Manhunt, like the potato sack, the egg toss
What's
thing.
the potato sack? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the jumping one.
Jumping.
We
and
should.
like a relay race of some kind. Boom. 5 little races right there. I'm set.
So is the lesson to not be scared to ask people things?
I think so.
And to have fun.
Yeah.
Kids these days are not having fun, it seems like.
Yeah.
At least
Take
we're
it back.
fun. Yeah, because we're children.
Or maybe they think they're having fun on their phones, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
There's more out there.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any other write-ins?
No.
Okay.
That's our plug to follow our Instagram at theneighbors.pod and write into next week's episode if we decide to have a prompt for it.
Mm-hmm.
True. I liked this.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
Well.
So that's our thoughts on why kids don't go outside. As you can see, it's definitely a complex reason, but we feel as kids that were outside, there's definitely a lot more pros for it to be happening.
Yeah.
So maybe let's be more intentional about it. I know when I hopefully have kids one day, I will push them to be outside, and I will be outside with them because it's fun.
Agreed.
Capture the flag, we out.
And this is your sign to ask your friend to do something maybe you think they don't want to do. Just invite them over. Just have a boring time together. Make new memories instead of reflecting on the old ones.
Yeah.
I like that.
Try something new together. Why not? Even if it's a new coffee recipe at home. If it sucks, oh well, you did it together.
Or just sit on the stoop together.
That too.
So simple. We used to sit on our curb
Just
for
sit in the sun.
hours.
Yeah.
And get off your phone.
Mm-hmm. Main lesson.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week, neighbor.
Bye.
Bye.